Today, we're going to talk about twin flame separation sickness. This is something you may have heard of. Is this real? If so, what is it? What do I do? Most importantly, and why? Why is this happening? We're going to talk about all the things in today's video using science-based explanations. You heard me correctly. Guys, twin flames is a real phenomenon. You're not crazy. I've got great news for you. You're not crazy. You might feel a little crazy right now, but you're absolutely not crazy, guys. This is a real thing, and we're going to talk about that. I met my twin flame too. I went through all the things, and then I went on to coach over 7,000 twin flame students. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Kurt. I'm the world's #1 twin flame coach. Like I said, helped a lot of people, and I cracked the code. Guys, this is real, and we absolutely can explain what this is and why this is happening to you. Now, quickly, I'm going to list off the signs. Just boom, 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 right? I'm going to list them off, and then we're going to get into each one of them. And as I'm going along, I'm going to answer all of those questions. What are twin flames? Why is this happening? And what do I do? So sign number 1, obsessive thinking. Dead giveaway, obsessive thinking. And I guess I shouldn't laugh about that because it's so obvious and it's intense. This is not normal. This is not like a normal breakup at all. I've never experienced anything like the obsessive thinking before or since. It's like it's happening to you. You cannot make it stop. It is really intense. Never had that happen before. Really crazy. And there's a real metaphysical reason that that is happening. We're going to get into the mechanics in today's video. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, acting desperate. Yeah, I'm guilty too, guys. Checking their social media literally 50 times a day. Texting the hell out of her. Just like talking to everybody about it. I'll do anything to make the pain stop. It's the most desperate situation I've ever been in over a breakup. This is not a normal breakup, right? You know something is different here. Okay, now we're going to get into the really cool stuff. Sign number 3, something I call the weird energy shit, right? So strange sensations in your body. This might not be happening to you yet. And if it has not started happening, I'm going to give you some tips on how you can get it to happen. And it's something you want to have happen. It is. And it doesn't hurt or anything like that. But it's some interesting sensations that you feel in your body. Okay, number 4, after the desperation and the obsessive thinking and all that starts to kind of go away, you start to feel a deep sense of joy. And I don't mean like excitement. I mean like inner oneness. Samadhi, deep peace, like you've never felt before. And this is also associated with a thing called intuition, which is sign number 5, knowing. So you have this weird, eerie knowing that they're going to be coming back, or you're meant to be together, or they are your twin flame, or most importantly, that your life is about to change in ways that you cannot explain. And you don't know why you know that, but you just know. Okay? And if this is ringing some alarm bells to you, you met your twin flame, guys. This is real. This is absolutely real. Now, let's do a little bit of setup. Let's talk about what twin flames are. And the only way that I've ever found to effectively explain what twin flames are is 50% to talk about what they are not, so kind of dispelling the myths that you see online about twin flames, and then 50% talking about what they are. So here's what twin flames are not. This is what twin flames are not. This idealistic, picturesque imagery that you see online about twin flames. And I'm not saying that twin flames are not spiritual. I'm not saying that you cannot be together and that it can't be just fine and all hunky-dory. My twin flame is permanently in my life, and we're good. It's fine. But it's not like this, guys. This is this romanticization of twin flames and like way over the top, making it into this like weird spiritual fantasy land kind of thing. Guys, stop doing that. I didn't get here by doing kind of all the weird new agey kind of stuff. I got here by taking this seriously, and you should too. And I'm not trying to be, mean or anything. I'm sorry if I'm bursting anybody's bubble right now because they have this idealistic notion about twin flames. But guys, that's the first thing that needs to go if you want to start feeling better, is that stuff. You can have what you think of as a relationship with your twin flame. And the reason I say what you think of is because you have to get out of separation. And separation is a state of consciousness. We're going to talk about that. Separation is the perception that there is other for you to relate with. Okay? That's why it's what you think of as a relationship. Okay? Truly, your twin flame is you. So you're not relating to an other. You're just aligning with your soul. Remember, what does everybody say about twin flames? Twin flames are the same soul. Everybody says it, but then they do all this weird monkey stuff, the weird new agey healing and clearing your chakras and clearing your karma and balancing your inner feminine and masculine. And this is all good stuff, right? Healing your inner childhood wounds, doing the mirror exercise, clearing your chakras, all this kind of new agey stuff, and then they make it sound like it's going to be this, like this. Okay? And that stuff is all fine. I'm not saying those things are bad. That's just not what this is, guys. That's why you're suffering. That's why you're struggling. That's why you're still searching for answers desperately on the internet. That's why you're experiencing twin flame separation sickness. Okay? Because you're treating this like you are separate from your twin flame. And what I'm about to explain to you is you are already not separate from them. You're not. You are them. There is no separation. You are one. You are union. That's what those words really mean, guys. And I've got some free resources to share with you as well. So your twin flame is really you. But the question is, what is you? So if I was to ask you, because remember, twin flames are the same soul, right? That's what everybody says, and it's true. Twin flames are the same soul. You are simultaneous incarnations, right? Like reincarnation, right? That's a real thing, guys. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This is real, and we can explain it. Okay, so if I was to ask you, who are you beyond the body and beyond the mind? What is that? What is the self? I think almost all of you are going to answer correctly. You're going to say, well, I'm a soul. Right, but what is that? Because normally when we think of me, we think of a story, a history, right? A narrative, a bunch of memories, right? I'm a mom, I'm a brother, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a teacher, I'm a whatever, liberal, conservative. I've been to these places, I've done these things. This is how I look at the world, right? It's a history, it's a story, and I'm not saying that's bad, that's just what that is. And they call it the ego, right? And I don't mean in the pejorative sense. I mean in the like nuts and bolts kind of way. It's the mind, the ego, right? The mind, ego, personality. So that's the physical body, chakras, and then you've got this energy cloud, right? That's a real thing. That's the ego mind. It's an energy system. It's a memory storage system. And it begins to give you this sense of self right around the time you're 7, 8 years old. And even a psychologist will tell you that, right? Well, think of it like cloud storage, like with a computer, like cloud storage, right? And it starts to constitute who you believe yourself to be. It's who I am. If somebody asks you who you are, you're going to tell them a story, and it's going to be based on your past experiences and this kind of thing. What I'm telling you is that's not who you really are. Who you really are is consciousness, the soul. The soul is 99 plus almost 100% consciousness. That's who you really are. So think of it this way. And I know you're thinking a lot right now. You've got the obsessive thinking. So let's start talking about that a little bit. So you got thoughts and emotions going on, right? And then, have you ever asked yourself, why am I thinking this way? And it's kind of hard to deny because you've got the obsessive thinking going on right now, don't you? Yes, you do. Most of you. Maybe not all of you. Maybe some of you are kind of past that. But you notice that there's thinking going on and emotions, and you're acting desperate too. I'll just talk about both of those. Well, did you ever notice that you can notice that you're thinking and feeling and emoting? Did you ever notice that there is this awareness of thoughts? Like, how can you be aware of thought? How can you be aware of that? What is awareness? What is that? What is consciousness? Right. See, this is why meditation is so important on this journey. Now, why the obsessive thinking and the acting desperate? Well, it's because you're experiencing a thing called ego death. Now, many of you may be referring to it as dark night of the soul, and that's fine. Those are the exact same thing, just different words to talk about the same thing. Ego death, dark night of the soul, same thing. So this is the breakdown of that energy system of the ego personality, or at minimum, you are like detaching from that. There's another word that we hear all the time. You are transcending identification as the mind, right? You're remembering that you are a soul and it's energetic, okay? That's why this is happening to you. You met your soul in another body. Your twin flame is another incarnation of your soul, and they trigger the breakdown of your ego. The personality, the identity entity, who you used to derive your sense of self from. By the way, what I'm articulating to you is the basic tenet of transcendentalism. The very first chapter of Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, is called You Are Not Your Mind. That is the basic principle of the Zen traditions. You are not the personality. You are not the thinker. You are not that which is acting desperate and searching for answers about your twin flame. That's not actually who you really are beyond the mind. That is the mind. Who you are is this conscious awareness, and that's why you're going to have the inner oneness, the joy, the knowing. Yeah, we'll get to that. That's where that's really coming from. The knowing, that's spiritual. It's the soul. Okay, but let's wrap this up here. So your twin flame and you are simultaneous incarnations of the same soul. So this big circle, this represents the higher self in heaven, or the energy part of the universe. You could call it the field, right? It's a higher quantum plane, Plane, of existence. These are real things, guys. I don't know if you know this, but currently physics is uncovering all this stuff. They are realizing that those higher realms exist. They're just not telling you that on TV, guys. I've made lots of videos about this. I even made a video explaining that, yeah, science is proving, the law of attraction, but it's really proving all of these higher energetic planes, which is where the law of attraction happens. It's called Science Proves the Law of Attraction. I'll link it down below for you. Now, you don't need to learn the law of attraction for your twin flame. That's another myth. Your twin flame is just consciousness. So No thinking is required. Thinking is the whole problem, actually. Okay, but what I'm telling you is science is proving that these things are real. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so this is the soul on the higher planes of existence. Okay, it's a wave. It's a wave of probabilities. Okay, and for those of you that know a little bit about physics, you know what I mean by that. Now, each of these red dots represents individual incarnations of your soul, as in reincarnation, and this would be the collapse of the wave. So again, anybody that knows anything about physics, you heard what I just said, you should have had an aha moment, okay? So this is real, guys. Science is proving these things really do exist. So this is your past life in the year 1770, 1880. There's you and your twin flame, and there's a future reincarnation. Now, technically, because time is not linear, this could be your next incarnation. So let's say this is you right now. When you do the thing that we call die, you go back up here, you could reincarnate back here in your next life. And then skip ahead and then go back and then, So your twin flame, now technically your twin flame is really just a past life that you used to live long ago. I don't know, 10 lives ago, 20 lives ago. And that's why they run, by the way. You are the positive polarity twin flame. Your twin flame is the negative polarity twin flame. So you have more consciousness than your twin flame because you've advanced, 10, 15, 20 lives since you were them in a past life, okay? Like I said, this is real. You're not crazy. We can explain what twin flames are. Everybody says twin flames are the same soul. And when you realize it's just reincarnation, it's like, oh, well, yeah, like, what did you think it was? Right. So that's why they run, guys. It's because you are polarized at the mental level. You are more energetic than they are. So it's not really based on gender, divine feminine, divine masculine, okay? It's really energy. There's this push and pull. You are positive, they are negative. And side note, the whole, I've heard this spiritual teaching about, well, gee, I heard that the masculine was the positive and the feminine was the negative. Nope, that's not what I'm talking about. Delete gender. Delete gender. Just forget you ever heard the gender labels when it comes to twin flames at all. It's energy, guys. Okay? In spiritualism, they call it duality. In the realm of science, they call it relativity. Okay? And your soul, which is a holographic fractal reproduction of the source, is non-duality. In science, they call it a singularity. It's like a black hole, right? A singularity, okay? It's consciousness. So again, I'm making these connections for you. I'm taking the time to explain this to you because I want you to know that you're not crazy. This is your spiritual awakening. And exactly what it is, you and your twin flames, the mechanics, why this is happening, why things work the way they work, there absolutely is an explanation, my friends. So, are you experiencing this twin flame separation sickness? Well, I suppose you could say that, but it's because you believe that you are separate from your twin flame. We're going to talk about that. Now, let's get through the rest of the signs, and then I'm going to give you advice about what to do and some free resources that you can use to shut down the suffering and start feeling better. Okay, so the third sign I called the weird energy shit. So after the obsessive thinking and the acting desperate starts to kind of simmer down, which again, I'll give you some resources that you can start using to try to get that to happen. Once that, this actually, the weird energy stuff, it might even start happening a little bit before the obsessive thinking and the acting desperate, the ego death, right? Before that tapers off all the way. And in fact, one thing that many of you may have experienced is heartache, intense heartache, like pain, right? And I've heard it called your core wound. That's it's just a word. I don't know that that's real. It's really metaphysical. It's a metaphysical activation, but you can call it whatever you want. It doesn't matter. The fact is, your mind is like an engine, whereas the soul is, in this example, would be the gas tank. So again, here's how it works. You meet your twin flame. There's the little bubble phase at the beginning, usually 4 to 6 weeks, sometimes longer, but usually 4 to 6 weeks. And then they reject you, they start running, all that, and then you crash. That's the ego death. That's the first step of your spiritual awakening. And it's part of infrastructure. It's built in, okay? That's why there's the obsessive thinking and the acting desperate and the feeling like this sense of meaninglessness. It's because your ego is breaking down, okay? It's being broken up into little chunks so that it can be washed away. Why? Because consciousness is exploding. Remember, your twin flame is the same gas tank. It's the same consciousness. You're the same soul. And it's exploding. Now, once things start to calm down a little bit, that's when you should really start feeling the weird energy stuff. Strange kundalini sensations, usually starting at your tailbone, moving up your spine and out your crown. It could happen all at once. You could have like an all-at-once kind of kundalini awakening, or you could have one like I did where it was kind of like drawn out over several weeks and it was lots of little movements up my spine. Also intense love. So we're going to switch from pain to intense love. They call it a heart activation. Really, really intense. I've never experienced love that intense before. And of course, at first I thought it was having to do with her, like, oh, I love her. And now I realize, well, it's really just me, because she's me anyway. You are your twin flame. But this is, it's again, it's like you took jet fuel and put it in the gas tank and the engine starts running really fast. Okay, remember the mind in my analogy here is like the engine. Think of like when your foot falls asleep and you get up and you walk around and you start feeling the needles and pins, okay? So your foot is starting to wake up again. So that's kind of another analogy I use to describe why the weird energy shit is happening. It's your metaphysical astral body is awakening. It's coming back online because you are increasing the fuel supply a lot. Your consciousness is exploding, okay? And because of this polarization between you and your twin flame, it's like it's pulling the consciousness out of you. So believe it or not, the twin flame separation sickness is actually essential to your awakening. You got to go through this kind of painful stage to awaken. I know, it sucks, but it does provide a functionality to your awakening. Now, sign number 4, this inner peace that I speak of, and the knowing, that's sign number 5, knowing that we're going to be together, knowing that they are my twin flame, knowing that something really amazing is going to happen in my life. It's, my life is going to change in ways that I can't even fathom. What is going to happen? I don't know. I just know though, right? It's kind of like deja vu, because it's this knowing with deja vu that you've done this before, but you don't know why you know. Well, the mind questions. Remember, body, mind, soul. Keep it simple, guys. Body, mind, soul. Look at function. Look at the mechanics. Don't try to find the meaning. That's too subjective. If you want to start to feel better, we have to get practical. We have to get objective. Look at the function, right? So body, mind, soul. How does that thing work? Well, we just talked about that. So you've got the knowing, which is the soul. It's spiritual. And then you've got the mind questioning. How do I know this? Those are two different things. They're coming from two places. Now, it sounds confusing at first because those two messages seem to be contradicting each other. You've got the soul giving you the knowing, and then you've got the mind going, how do I know that? Well, that's just the mind. The mind doubts. It's full of conditioning. It's full of programming. You've been told your whole life there's no such thing as angels, ghosts, there's no telepathy. You're not a soul. Nobody knows what happens to you when you die, blah, blah, blah. All that kind of crap we've been told. It's all false. It's all false. This is absolutely real. Of course, the mind doesn't understand intuition, the knowing. Of course it doesn't. But you can trust that, whatever it's telling you. And of course, you're going to feel union, unity consciousness. That's sign number 4, the joy, the inner oneness. Now, I made a video just specifically about these words, separation, union, detaching. Why do we use those words in the twin flame community? Think about it. Why do we use those words? Don't you think that's kind of weird? Why not just say, oh, they rejected me, or we broke up, or we're together? And what's up with detaching? Right. Guys, those words actually came from the Zen traditions. Those are not twin flame words. Now, what happened was somebody long ago, before the internet, figured out twin flames. And they took these Zen teachings and superimposed it over their twin flame experience. And correctly so. So that's where the words separation, union, and detaching came from originally. Unfortunately, the internet gets a hold of it and starts playing a game of telephone with it. Right? Monkey see, monkey do. Nobody remembers what those words really used to mean, where those words really came from. Everybody in the twin flame community just kind of starts using those words without asking these questions. Why are we using those words? Where did they come from? What does it really mean? And it's so obvious because you've got every well-known spiritual teacher in the book using those words. Eckhart Tolle, Rupert Spira, Buddha, Jesus, Krishnamurti, Ram Dass, Michael Singer, right? The big names. Yogananda, right? Those people. They're always talking about how the ego is separation, the ego mind, the identity entity, the energy body, the false sense of self. Who you used to think you were, and you still kind of do. You're in a transitionary period right now, right? If you're watching this video. Now, what about union? Well, that comes from unity consciousness. So again, sign number 4, you feel this deep inner sense of oneness, like you're connected to everything and your twin flame. And you can't explain how you know that. Again, I put these two together for a reason, guys. The inner oneness and the knowing, because it's intuitive. You're clear that it's not coming from the mind. And as a matter of fact, the mind is trying to figure out and understand it, but it can't be understood because it's not thought. This knowing and this inner oneness, it's not thought. It's consciousness. You experience that. You don't understand it. It's beyond mind. It's beyond concept. It's who you really are. They call that unity consciousness. That's where the word union came from. Now, when you transcend the separation of ego mind, they call that detaching. To detach from my twin flame is to detach from my mind. You are a soul, my friend. And you're remembering that. We have to tear away the old garbage of ego. We have to tear away the old sense of self, who you used to believe you were, this person, this program. Who you really are is a spiritual being, and you are beyond mind. That's your soul. That's your twin flame. You need to go there, my friends. No healing, no thinking, no clearing your chakras. Again, that's fine. That stuff is okay. But it doesn't work here. And as a matter of fact, it backfires. If you're doing any of that stuff to get your twin flame to come back to you, they will run harder because that's all mental stuff, guys. Remember, you are polarized at the mental, emotional, and metaphysical level, the mind. With your twin flame, you are polarized. You push, they pull away. You focus on them, they focus on anything but you. And to fix this, it's not that you need to focus on yourself. That's still separation. That's a subject-object relationship. No, you remember that you are the very focus itself. This isn't directed outward. It's non-duality. Separation, duality. It's I'm here, something else is over there. I'm here, that's over there. Subject, object. I focus on myself. That's psychology, and I'm not saying that's bad. That's just what that is. It's I am. I am consciousness. You experience yourself as the awareness, as that which focuses. Focus, awareness, consciousness itself. It's not directed outward. It's non-duality. Now, here are some free resources that you can use to get started today to shut down the obsessive thinking. I have all of my paid Twin Flame coaching students, all of them. I have them read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Read that book. You want to get your twin flame back? That's what you got to do, guys. Remember that you are a soul. Your twin flame is your soul. Number 2, watch the Samadhi movie. It's on YouTube. It's free. You can start watching it right now. S-A-M-A-D-H-I, Samadhi. There's 3 parts. Watch part 1 first. Don't skip around. Watch part 1 first, or else the rest of them, they won't make sense to you. It's only an hour long. It's absolutely free. S-A-M-A-D-H-I. When you're done watching that film, you're going to go, I get it. And I don't know why I get it. Right. The knowing. That's where you need to go, my friend. Here's some other free resources. I've got a whole entire playlist of free twin flame coaching videos from the world's #1 twin flame coach on this YouTube channel. You can get started right now. It's called The True Twin Flame Teachings. Go check that playlist out. And again, make sure for sure that you watch the video that I've linked down below called Twin Flames, Separation Consciousness, Unity Consciousness, and Detaching. But go check out those videos on that playlist as well. And guys, there's also my paid coaching. If you're interested, it's not expensive. I even have payment plans. It's already not that much money to begin with, but guys, I make it so easy. You can get started for very little, and it is extremely comprehensive, and it's the only proven twin flame coaching system on the market today. It's called The Introduction to the Journey. Just go to my website, check it out, sign up today, my friends. It's, 27 hours long to start with. Yeah, I dig into the details, my friends. Action steps that you can take right now to shut down the feeling awful, the separation sickness, and to get your twin flame to talk to you again. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you next time.